Yo, what up? This is Mrs. Zoo Nation coming at you with another rant, talking more about G Guardians and the new rulings and whatnot, and my 2 cents on why everybody's fucking pissed about this shit. But before I start, I am a little sick, so if you hear like me snoring and whatnot, I'm not doing cocaine. I'm just stuffy as fuck right now, and I think my voice is going to sound like a little bit different in this recording, but um, to put to listen to my first opinion on G Guardians, look at my previous video. I'm going to put the link into the description of it. So anyway, let's commence to this. For the new info on G Guardians, for those who either don't know or needs a quick refresher, just to figure out what I'm going to be ranting about. The G zone is increased from 8 to 16. Um, you can only flip 4 G Guardians in the game, so even if you put back heal triggers of Legion, you can only use it 4 times. Both players, which is the dumbest thing, needs to be at Generation Break 3 to use G Guardian. That's going to be one of my main issues. After using G Guardian, when it goes back to the G zone, it unflips, which counts as a generation break. However, when the G Guardian is in the Guardian Circle, it does not count as a generation break. You can call multiple G Guardians and guard step. What situation do you need to... Oh, never mind. I answered my own question. Since G Guardian is not considered call from hand, the Great Guardian Circle, it can be used even when you don't retire 2 units from Phantom Blast or Diablo skill. Pretty much the best ruling out of this whole thing. And G Guardian could be retired by Daikaiser Leon skill. Understandable. So one of the things that people are a lot bitching about is the whole increase in the G zone from 8 to 16, which is understandable. I'm a little pissed about it. Now, my thing is, when it comes to G Guardian, a lot of people are pissed about the whole I would probably think that a lot of people are pissed about the whole Generation Break 3 thing, which I am as well. A lot of people are pissed about the whole G Zone thing. However, I'm more pissed about Gear Chronicle than anything. To be honest, Gear Chronicle, everybody knows and everybody should know that this is the G era, baby. This pretty much is solely based on Stride. There's no ands or buts about it. And it's pretty much Stride is pretty much the #1 thing that you can do with this deck. And my thing is, I would pretty much would think that this deck will plus off of this so hard. It's ridiculous. It will plus off of it so hard because it's the only deck. Even if every other deck has a G version of it, it would not compare to Gear Chronicle, because Gear Chronicle was meant for this particular mechanic. But my thing is, this pluses off of it a lot because it has more generic units than any other clan. Let's look at this in Mega Colony. Since Mega Colony is my favorite clan, Mega Colony has like what about? It has 3 generic units, and then it has 2, which is best one, which is Machine Destroyer, requires you to have a machining, which means if you're not playing the machining deck, you cannot use them. The other one, which could have been a way better card, is the Evil Armor one, which requires you to have Greffa, which could have been a better card, but that's for another rant. My thing is, you have to be playing Greffa, which people would be if the card was fucking better, but it's not. If the card was fucking better, probably people would be using it, but it's not. It's not generic. But Gear Chronicle has as much generic shit as possible. Now, The thing that's wrong was he's like, but what's wrong with him, Zoo? What's wrong with it? My thing is, persona flipping was the one thing that was balancing everything out. You knew for damn sure that persona flipping would take up two spaces, and the fact that you can only have 8 spaces in total in G Zone, that means you can only use two cards that you can only use up to 2 copies of persona flippers. Because you knew 9 times out of 10, up until recently, that persona flippers pretty much yeah, that persona flippers you had to be at generation break 2 in order to use them. So pretty much it was like 4-year slots was solely based on 2 units because they were the persona flippers, and the other 4 were like the single ones. You know, 2 just to get into your 2 just to get the generation break 2, and then like the other 2, ooh, excuse me, and another 2 just to use just in case you have to G assist or you need like some late game stuff and both your persona flips didn't work. Which shouldn't really be, which, well, it is possible, but you know, persona flipping is more of like a late game type finisher thing anyway, so it's, sometimes it doesn't really matter. But my thing is, Gear Chronicle has a lot of, generics, and now putting it at 16 is just going to make it a lot easier to use every single one. Not saying that somebody will actually do that, but now you have a lot more to worry about. Other than next stage, still got to worry about next stage, but that's besides the point. But going back to the whole, you had both players need to be in Generation Break 3. Here's what I think is stupid about it. This is Grade 2 Lock Plus. This is Grade 2 Lock number 2. This is why I say this. Certain clans do not need to stride in order to win. You know for damn sure that a clan like Gold Paladin, Liberator, Bushy Flames do not need to be striding 24/7 in order to win. Hell, their main strategy is solely based off of legioning. But what's your point? My point is, what's your point? Okay, my thing is this. G Guardian was, in my opinion, if I'm looking at this correctly, was for the sole purpose of going against decks like this. Decks like this that pretty much says, fuck you, you can't block with your perfect guards, or fuck you, you can't block with grade zeros and whatnot, even though Gold Pounders don't have to 0-1, but there are clans that do. Now, in my opinion, being unable to block with grade 1s or higher from hand is a lot more dangerous than not being able to block with grade 0s. That one, in my opinion, is only dangerous if the card that's attacking doing it has either double crit, or that the game that it can be like a game changer. Either not a game changer, a finisher. My thing is, at the same time, this whole G Guardian thing was meant for the sole purpose of going against dumb shit like that. Because let's face it, a lot of clans that has that particular restriction, that has the ability to do that restriction, is always hitting for over 40k. Always. And that's what makes it the most broken mechanic in the game, because it always goes for that high particular damage, and there's no way you can stop it unless you have a shitload of 10k shields. But even if you had a shitload of 10k shields, unless you completely nullify the attack, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. It's not really going to. It's not going to make a difference at all because at the end of the day, all you're doing really is preparing for that attack, preparing to stand with against that attack, and just trying to. This was pretty much one of the few things that I don't think should have been balanced. I mean, you had it's bad enough that in order to activate it, you have to ditch a heal trigger from your hand. That's balanced enough in order to use it. I would probably, it would pretty much be a lot better if both players were at Generation Break 2, seeing that certain clans, cough, Gear Chronicle, could get to Generation Break 3, let alone Generation Break 2, a lot faster than, let's say, Neo Nectars or whatever. I mean, there's not really that many clans, even if it's the G unit version. I mean, even if it's the G version of it, that can get to Generation Break 2 and 3 and or 3 very quickly. Not like how Gear Chronicles could do it. Or, how about this? Not a lot of clans could do that without having to refer to the Crate Elemental cards. But my thing is, this is, like I said, this is pretty much like Grade 2 Lock number 2 or version 2 because, like I said, certain clans don't need to stride in order to get that one huge ass attack off and whatever just to kill you off. Now, if I was playing Bushy Flames, I know for damn sure I would not be trying to put you at Generation Break 3. Hell the fuck no. Because I need my motherfucking attack to work. I don't need to be getting hit with no G Guardian shit in the process. No, I need my attack to go through. That's the sole purpose. That's why you can't perfect guard me for shit. Because I need that attack to go through. Now, God forbid that you have a shitload of grade 10k shields to use, but at the same time, 9 times out of 10, that's kind of hard to do. Like, even, no, it's kind of hard to do in general. You have to be stacking up on triggers constantly, even though if you're to do that, it won't even work that much anyway, for various reasons. Now, a lot of people, I remember for a second, were complaining about Grade 2 Lock, but I love Grade 2 Lock. I'm not gonna lie, I like Grade 2 Lock. I did it from time to time. I will admit I'm guilty of Grade 2 locking when I was playing Tachikaze before Reckless Rampage came out. I had a version of it that would play Grade 2 lock. I would even Grade 2 lock on purpose just to get over dumbass shit. Now, my thing is, a lot of people were complaining about it, and now you have responses like, what's that Crate Elemental card that they recently announced? It's like, it has something to do with if you're at you can stride into it if you're at Generation Break. I mean, no, if you're at Grade 3 and your opponent was at Grade 2 for like X amount of time, I think. That shit's retarded in my opinion, though, actually. But you have cards that now has answered to Grade 2 locks. Now, there's like another one, I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, going to my point, you have cards that has that particular ability, but my thing is, when somebody Grade 2 locks, I don't blame them. You wanna know why I don't blame them? Because there is way too many dumb decks out there that's just I really wouldn't say it's like super impossible to go against, but you just don't want to deal with that. Gear Chronicles, you don't want to deal with that shit. Dimension Police, you don't want to deal with that. Fucking Link Joker, sometimes you don't even want to deal with that shit. And the fact that you're going into a tournament, like let's say this is a whole tournament style and somebody trying to grade 2 lock at a tournament, my thing is this: you put the motherfucker at single elimination, you're having somebody going against a deck like Gold Paladins, Shadow Paladins, sometimes even World Paladins, Kagero, Gear Chronicle, and everything else that has a lot more guaranteed shot of winning when the whole point of the game is to be more diverse and every clan should have a better chance at winning. But then you have decks like that has every damn right in the reason to be like, okay, well, the win is going to get a lot easier to this one because it has this lockdown, it has this lockdown, it has that lockdown, it's preventing you from doing this, that, yada yada. My thing is, you have a lot of clans that has, okay, you can't block with grade 1s or higher, you can't block with grade 0s or higher. Not every clan has that fucking lockdown, and every clan that has that lockdown has some even more bullshit way to get the game fucking win. Not to mention, because you're getting the game win with that fucking mechanic, it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to go against that shit? Of course I'm a grade 2 lock your ass, because I don't want you to get that shit off. Not that fucking easy. Man, you gonna have to go through you gonna have to go break an arm and a leg just to get to that shit. In my opinion, the game is dying. Maybe the game is a little too broken. Maybe the game has gotten a lot broken than it was a year ago. Maybe the game is starting to die just a little bit. Maybe a little hope about this game being very good. It's gone now. It's starting to become like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you have no choice but to use certain decks. It's starting to come that way. I'm not saying it's going to become that way completely, but okay, right now Grand Blue finally got his shit. Finally. And as a result of that, a lot of Grand Blue decks are now topping. But how long is that gonna stay? Because let's face it, I came into the game around season 3. That's where Gold Paladin Liberators was head honcho. That was when Kagero was head honcho. That was when Link Jokers was still new and it was nearly tier 0. That's when I came into the game. So necessarily seeing Gold Paladins topping is not even an issue to me anymore because I grew up in a time and the game, and I played in the time in the game where that was one of the main clans always topping. But the G Guardian stuff, I'm not really going to say that the G Guardian stuff is going to put the foot into the grave, but if you notice the average power that every deck does now, I mean, Limit Break era for a prime example, the average attack was like 16k to 21. Legion era, the average attack was 27k to 30, or even 32 sometime. Stride era, the average attack was 33 to 35 or 37 sometimes. I would probably say 33 to 35. I mean, if it's got to a point where one of the new mechanics is allowing you to have a 20k shield, then that's telling me that the game is beginning to become more broken than it is, or it's starting to become broken. Not to mention that it gets over restrictions like you can't block a grade ones or higher, you can't block a grade zeros or high, you can't block a grade zeros. I mean, if it gets to restrict, if it gets up to a point where restrictions like that is like one of the major issues in the game, then yeah, I think Bushy Road has one foot in the grave with this game at the moment. Not saying that the game will completely die, but if diversity does not come back to the game, if it gets up to a point where the support issue of supporting clans that need support versus clans that doesn't need support is continuing, I think that this will be the thing that will kill the game off. I think this will be the one that will kill off the game completely. That and the possibility of putting everything to G regulation format as well, because let's face it, when Duel Masters did that shit, they got killed off. Man. But not saying that I lost hope for the game, but I do kind of lose a little shred of hope, just a little bit, only because, let's face it, not all the little clans, not all the little clans could do like the super big shit that, Gear Chronicle and everything else could do. And actually, that in the fact that the game is starting to slowly becoming more like Yu-Gi-Oh, where diversity is no longer the main concern of the game, and it's starting to become a pay to win. It's no longer becoming, everything is solely based on the player. But anywho, that's just my rant for right now. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, like the subscribe button. Share this channel to like everybody else. To your friends, your homeboys, your homegirls. Your ladies, your guys, whatever. Because I mean, I know I'm not going to get as super popular as like Different Flight or Absolute, but you know I'm gonna try, damn it. So for now, this is Mrs. Zoo Nation signing out.